My girlfriend called me ugly in front of her friends and dumped me at a restaurant, leaving me to pay for the dinner. As she walked away, she loudly said, "A guy like you should be grateful I even dated you." I smiled and calmly waited. 2 hours later, she was begging me to come back. See, what Danielle didn't know was that I'd been planning to propose that night. The ring was literally in my jacket pocket when she started her little performance for her friends. I'd spent 3 months picking it out, saving up from my tech job, even asking her best friend what style she'd like. But here's the thing. Earlier that week, Danielle's marketing company had a complete system meltdown. Their servers crashed, client data was corrupted, everything was chaos. Her boss, Edward, was panicking because they had a huge presentation for their biggest client the next day. Danielle called me crying, begging for help. So I spent 14 hours straight rebuilding their entire network infrastructure, recovering lost files, and setting up new security protocols. I did it all remotely, working through the night while Danielle slept. When everything was fixed, Edward was so grateful he told Danielle whoever solved this was getting a massive promotion and raise. The company had been about to lose their biggest account. Here's what Danielle didn't know. She had no idea I was the one who fixed everything. She thought they'd hired some expensive consultant because that's what Edward initially told everyone before I asked him to keep my involvement quiet. I didn't want credit at her workplace, but Danielle, being Danielle, immediately started taking credit. She told everyone she'd coordinated the technical response and managed the crisis. By the time I showed up for dinner, she'd apparently convinced half the office she was some kind of tech genius. So when she humiliated me in front of her friends, calling me a loser who should be grateful she dated me, I made a decision. I pulled out my phone right there at the table and sent one simple email to Edward. "Hey Edward, about that system fix last week. Just wanted to clarify that Danielle wasn't involved in the technical work. I handled the entire recovery personally as a favor to Danielle, but wanted to make sure credit went where it was due. Hope the Harris presentation went well." I attached screenshots of my remote access logs, showing exactly when and how I'd fixed everything, along with the recovery scripts I'd written. Then I paid the $200 bill like a gentleman and went home. 2 hours later, my phone started buzzing. "Please call me. I can explain everything. I made a huge mistake." Then, "My boss wants to talk to you." "What did you tell him?" Then, "I'm so sorry. We can work this out." Turns out Edward had called an emergency meeting the moment he got my email. He'd been suspicious about Danielle's sudden technical knowledge, but hadn't questioned it during the crisis. When he confronted her with my evidence, Danielle tried to claim we'd worked together, that she'd supervised the fix. But my logs showed I'd done everything solo while she was offline. Edward was furious. Not only had Danielle been taking credit for saving the company, but she'd been negotiating her promotion based on a complete lie. The promotion? Gone. The raise? Gone. And because the company had strict policies about dishonesty, especially regarding client work, Danielle got fired that same night. The best part came the next morning when her friends started texting me. Apparently, Danielle had been bragging to them all week about her technical skills and how she was about to become the youngest senior manager in company history. Now they were sending me screenshots of her crying in the parking lot, begging security to let her back in to get her personal items. One friend texted, "Dude, she told us you were some basic retail worker who didn't understand her career. She said you were holding her back." Another, "She literally said you should be grateful because she was way out of your league. This is beautiful karma." I blocked Danielle's number and returned the ring to the jewelry store. Got a full refund since it was within 30 days. The wildest part? Edward called me the next week and offered me Danielle's job. Apparently, they'd been looking for someone with my exact skills, and he was impressed that I'd help them without expecting anything in return. I'm starting next month with Danielle's old salary, plus the raise she would have gotten. Sometimes the best revenge is just letting people dig their own graves while you hold the shovel.